You are my fire. No, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, please have your glasses charged, ready for the speeches. And here he is, the groom.
Hello. The end. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll keep this as short as possible for you. As you know, I don't like public speaking and I can't really read or write. First of all, my wife and I would like to thank you all for coming today. It means a lot to us to have everyone we love in the room to share our special day. Although it would have been a hell of a lot cheaper if half you hadn't come. There will be a few toasts this evening, so please do not make your drink at the first toast. Mention no names, mother. Unfortunately, there's a couple of people who are not here today who mean a lot to us. My dad and grandbids, who are all total legends. I know they're not here today, but they're upstairs having one hell of a party. And Dad's dropping a few C-bombs. So with that in mind, could we please join my wife and I in a toast to those... sorry, thank you, sir. Where am I? To toast for those who've gone for not gotten. So ladies and gentlemen, to absent friends and family. What's your go, Marley? Do you want to come and speak?
You can do it.
Come on then.
You sing Baby Shark. Baby Shark. Molly, Baby Shark.
Come on. Can you say hello? Hello? Baby shark a doo 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 doo, baby shark a doo 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 doo, baby shark. You gonna sing? No. On behalf of Ash and myself, we'd like to thank both our mums, who we wouldn't be here without them today. If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for them, if we can become half the parents they were, then I'm sure we can't go far wrong, can we, Mo? Mandy, I'm normally supposed to thank you for welcoming me into your family today, but you've made me feel part of your family for the last 8 years since me and Ash first got together. I genuinely could not ask for a better mother-in-law, and I thank you for bringing Ash to become the woman she is today. I'd also like you to thank you for allowing me to marry Ash, your beautiful daughter. I love Ash with all my heart, and I will do everything I can to make her happy for the rest of our lives. Yeah. Now on to my mum. A special thank you for your love and support and patience over the years. I feel extremely lucky to have such a wonderful mum. I really believe you've made me the person I am today, and I thank you endlessly for that. It must be very hard to come to terms that you've raised such a perfect son. So, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to raise your glass for another toast to family? Can I say hello? Say hello. Say hello. Can I put you down, Pudding? Now on to my best men. Thanks for an amazing weekend in Madrid. I'm not quite sure how we survived 4 days on a stag do. Maybe it's down to Pablo Escobar's. I really do appreciate the effort Lee and Andrew put into organising the weekend. I'm not quite sure what Spoon, Matty and Dave really did. And a special thanks to Lee for being our personal tour guide for 3 days. I hope your German girl stayed in touch with you. As for the bridesmaids, Jess, Katie, Charlotte, Emily and Izzy, you all look beautiful today. Obviously outshone by Ash. And Charlotte, sorry. I forgot. And Evie. Oh, all of you girls, you look beautiful. You've done a great job making sure Ash got here on time and not done a runner at last minute. Now on to my beautiful wife. Ash, thank you for agreeing to marry me. I love you with all my heart, and you truly are my world. I'm sure everyone will agree you look absolutely beautiful today. But then you look beautiful every day to me. Cheese! I'm so happy to marry such a beautiful woman. I am really lucky that you chose to marry me. But I'm not sure if this is just because I knocked you up first. Lad. You always make me happy and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. I was going to say you've done a fantastic job organising today, but we know I did everything. But seriously, you've done an amazing job to make this day as perfect as it can be. So I first spotted Ash walking past my shop one afternoon with her cousin Jess. First thing came to mind, send Jess a message on Facebook to find out who she was. She says, "Stay away, Damien, she's only 16. So I was like, that's fine, I'll wait until I'm 18. Funny enough, 2 years later in Sailors, we bumped into each other, and I guess the rest is history.
Watson set you up.
Yeah, thanks for the squash frogs, Watson. We've had a fantastic time together. We've been on some amazing holidays and we've visited lots of beautiful places and made lots of amazing memories. And most importantly, we've had our amazing daughter Marley, who's our love of our life and the most amazing daughter that anyone could want. So now on to my last toast of the evening, which is to my beautiful wife Ashley's. So if I could have everyone up standing, please. Could you please raise your glasses to my amazing, beautiful new wife, Ashley. Now that's enough of me, and I'll hand you over to the best men. Cheers, friend.
Wow, where do we go from there? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Andrew Watson. Good evening. My name is Andrew, some of you will know me as Prinny, and as well as being one of Damien's best men, I'm also a bit of a mind reader. Because 50% of you are thinking right now, probably the male half of the room, Damien Rowe's best man speech, I'd love to have a crack at this. And the other 50%, probably the women, are thinking, what the hell did this idiot do in a past life to become one of Damien Rowe's best men? And I'm still trying to figure that one out. Now, whichever way you fall on that 50-50, I consider myself to be in a very privileged position where for the next hour and 45 minutes or so, I get to publicly abuse Damien a lot like some of his ex-girlfriends. Oh no, he didn't!
That was bad.
Now, you will have noticed that I'm one of 5 best men that are here today. The others are Mr. Matthew O'Hare. Damien was the first person that Matt met when he first moved to Newquay all those years ago. There's Mr. Dave Davies, long-time neighbour of Damien. There's PC Chris Armstrong, met at secondary school. And there's Mr. Lee Byrne, who basically, if Damien hadn't met Ash, this would be a very different wedding. There would be a lot of pink, there'd be a couple of bow ties, and there would be a Gretna Green situation. So you could read into 5 best men. There's lots of different things you could read into it. Damien's got too many friends. He's indecisive. He's just too afraid to call the rest of them ushers. Or more than likely, he knew that Lee Byrne was going to get smashed and he didn't want him to make a speech. Standard dictates the best men shouldn't try to look better than the groom, and apart from wear a paper bag over my head, there wasn't much I could do about it. But I'd like to thank the other four for keeping up with etiquette, especially Chris. So when I spoke to Damien about the speech, he had 2 criteria, and the criteria were, number 1, each of the best men have to say something, and number 2, don't mention ex-girlfriends. That one's already gone. Combine that request with the old adage that if you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all, and this had the makings of a very short speech. If you ask Mickey Byrne, there's not much to say nice about Damien Rowe, is there, Mickey? Then you've got to think of the audience and the content. This is a family show. His daughter's here. Do I tone it down? I mean, everybody knows Damien, surely understands that this has got the potential to turn into a full-on Jerry Springer show with such classic episodes as I make up for my unclear sexuality by having fancy cars. Or my ex-girlfriend used to bite me. And Chris's personal favourite, I like to start fights by throwing burnt chips at people. Taking it all into account, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so I apologise now to anybody who is easily offended or indeed squeamish. So how have we decided to cover half of Damien's criteria? That is that each of the best men are going to stand up, introduce themselves, give a fact about Damien that we're going to dive into in a little bit more depth. So, Dave, fact 1 if you please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my fact is that Damien was a very appropriate name for him as a child.
Now, there was a lot of cheering down here, not much cheering up there. For the Cornish people at the back of the room there, because he's from North. Damien was an appropriate name for him as a child. Damien, son of the devil. Some of you may not be aware, looking at his daft face right now, that Damien used to be, in Dave's own words, a serious knob. Dave told me a story of them playing cricket on Fistral Beach when they were younger. Damien came into bat, he's been waiting a while, stands up to the crease, swings, gets caught out first ball. The bat goes flying across the beach, Damien storms off home and proceeds to take his frustrations out on his grand's door by smashing in the front panels. I personally remember Damien's serious knob years at my 6th birthday, where Damien was having a fight with Richard Mullins in the middle of my living room floor being refereed by my mum. At my 7th birthday, lovely barbecue down the Gannel, Damien gets bored and starts chucking stones at passers-by. These people complain to my dad. Would you please keep your son under control? To which my dad responded, thankfully he's not my son. It's safe to say he didn't get an invite to my 8th birthday. So to close that one off, he's a serious knob. And speaking of them, Matt. Fact 2, if you please.
Hi, I'm Matt. My interesting fact about Damo is he's a closet transvestite.
Closet transvestite. That's right. So, yeah, this was always a favourite story of Damien's gran, Biddy. While Damien was in his serious knob years, he was famous for going down onto Fistral Beach and stealing women's clothes. He'd come back in through the door with tops, jeans, the occasional bra. And I think they always wondered what Damien was aiming to do with it. But his mum and gran got an insight to this when Damien was about 14. It was New Year's Eve, and Damien had spent the night at home with his mate Rob, and his mum and his gran walked back into the door late at night, and Damien was wearing an assortment of clothes from his gran's wardrobe, strutting around the living room like a catwalk version of Miss Marple. I always wondered why you had your hair long. Anyway, where was I? Miss Marple, that's right. Speaking of crime-solving, nagging old women, Chris, fact 3, if you please.
Thanks, Matt. So, my interesting fact is the gayest straight bloke any of us know is Damien is obsessed with other blokes' tackle.
Wow. And Ash, don't pretend you don't know about this one. He is obsessed. So, Ash and Damien started a WhatsApp group with my wife and I to discuss the very intellectual programme called Love Island. You might have heard of it. It's sandwiched in between Question Time and News at 10. Very intellectual. And a couple of weeks after this WhatsApp group started, suddenly Damien shared a video. Straight away I thought, oh dear. Firstly, that shouldn't have gone on this group. And secondly, what was he searching for on the internet to find man-on-man action like that? As they say, what happens in the camping shop stays in the camping shop, don't they? And now I have to vet every message from Damien so my wife's not visually scarred from what she sees. As I said, Ash is well aware of the man-tackle obsession and she's seen it in action. New Year's Eve, a couple of years ago. Hi, Gary Barnes. We had a lovely night out at the Fistral Beach Hotel. Damien and Ash go back home with Gary Barnes. Ash leaves them in the living room for a very, very short period of time. And when Ash returns, the two of them are running around the living room, semi-naked, taking photos, comparing their man-meat, giggling like 4-year-old children. I believe Damien actually got a little bit too excited, didn't he, Ash? Did he blame that puddle on the dog? He did blame it on the dog. Anyway, speaking of dogs, final best man, Mr. Lee Byrne. Fact number 4.
Hi, I'm Lee. Check me out on Tinder. Damien has been touched up by a man, thumbed in the ass, and enjoyed it.
Damien's been touched up by a man and he enjoyed it. A few years ago, Damien went on holiday to the lovely country of Sri Lanka with our good friend Gary Chambers, wherever he's sitting. And while they were there, Damien decided to get a relaxing massage. Damien was probably expecting a lovely Sri Lankan lady to walk in through the door and was possibly a little bit surprised when a man walks in the door. Let's call him John. John and his big hands. Anyway, Damien covers his modesty with a tiny towel, obviously, and he jumps up onto the table while John rubs massage oil into his hairy palms. John starts on Damien's back, goes to the shoulders, heads to the arms, and then goes down to the legs. He strokes Damien's calves and then moves seductively up to graze the lower thigh. And then before Damien can complain, John reaches further and performs an act that only a doctor should do. And what did our boy Damien do? Nothing. He didn't even flinch. And he probably gave John a wink and a word of thanks as he walked out the door. And this has always confused me about Damien. He gets really nervous about making a 2-minute speech and then completely shrugs off a Sri Lankan man using him like a finger puppet. So I think it's safe to say, Damien, over the years, some of us didn't think you were going to make it this far. It's all too believable that you might have seen yourself off by licking a plug socket or something just as ridiculous. But somehow, lucky for us, you did make it. You've grown into a brilliant human being that all of us lads are proud to be best man for. You've a beautiful girl and now a stunning wife. And I can honestly say there's nobody else I'd love to spend an afternoon at Dairyland with throwing our little girls down a demon drop. We've had some amazing holidays, even the gay ones to San Francisco. Ridiculous nights out and generally a cracking time over the years. And we all look forward to many, many more. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask you to raise your glasses in my first toast to friendship. Yeah. Now, as tradition dictates, I'd like to thank Damien for his kind words about the bridesmaids. They do all indeed look lovely, only to be outshone by the beautiful bride, Mrs. Ashley Rowe. Ash. Now, this is normally where I compliment you and say that you're too good for Damien, but I'm going to divert away from a normal best man speech right now in roasting the groom, and I'm going to turn my attentions to the bride. All of you will have noticed that there wasn't a traditional father of the bride speech today. So I approached Ash's mum, Mandy, and her brother Ben to ask permission to say a few words about Ash. And it turns out that even though they're not ones for public speaking, they are very, very good at character assassination. Now, Damien started grooming Ash back in 2008. For legal reasons and threats from Jess, Ash's cousin, the boys didn't meet until 2010. And apart from the first time where I met Ash, where she got horrendously drunk and face-planted Fistral Beach, I've always considered to be a very mature and sensible young lady and wondered what she was doing with Damien. However, after getting some anecdotes from your mum, I'm now starting to realise there might be a base level of craziness as to where this has actually blossomed from. So Mandy, Ben and Jess have provided me with a little list of Ashley stories. Number 1. 14-year-old Ash was walking with family uphill on the way home from town one day. She looked at the houses and pondering something. After a minute, she thoughtfully said, "I don't know why you build your house on a hill. It must be a pain." After some confused look from everybody, they asked her what she meant, and her reply was, "It must be hard stopping yourself rolling out of bed." Number 2. When Ash was about 4, she didn't get her own way and decided to leave home. She packed her Barbie backpack with Fluffy, her favourite cuddly dog and pyjamas, slammed the door and left. She got as far as the front doorstep and sat there believing nobody knew where she was. That was a favourite game of Ash. She slammed the door, and if she didn't get the desired effect, she'd come back and she'd slam it again just to make sure that people knew what she was doing. Does anybody remember that serious knob story about Damien smashing his grand's door in? When her brother Ben used to do motocross, Ash would always come to the meetings. On a particular meeting, it was the weekend, so they took her bike, which was learning to ride. She was 5. The track was always marked off with rope, and Ash decided to ride her bike down a hill. She couldn't stop. She hit the rope, which was at neck height, and it took her straight off her bike, and it left a big rope burn around her neck that she looked like she tried to hang herself. Number 4, Ash is terrible at geography. To the extent that she thought East Anglia was in Devon, and she thought that Denmark was a city. From being a baby right up to school, Ash refused to wear shoes. She was a nightmare. You take her to the shop, she'd pick up a pair that she liked, and the next day she'd refuse to wear them. Do you remember Venice, when we went on holiday and you bought a pair of trainers at the airport, and then you decided to wear 6-inch heels around Venice because you couldn't wear those trainers that you bought the day before? It's exactly that. Which is ironic, really, because Marley will wear any pair of shoes that she fires across the floor now. Number 6, and this one's from Jess. Animals seem to have an attraction to her, so much so that on separate occasions she's been hit in the face by a bat and 2 birds. The bat actually left a wing-shaped mark in the middle of your forehead. Yeah. And finally, number 7, this one's brilliant. After she got her first car, so she's at least 17, Ash and Mandy were driving along near the airport and a plane went over the top. Ash thought for a moment and then asked, "If I put aircraft fuel in my car, will it fly?" Both of them are mental. It's clear, Ash, the message that I received from your mum, that she loves you and she's very, very proud of you. She said that you love babies and animals and were always amazing with children. Ash grew up wanting to be a vet. She was also good at sports. Athletics, she broke the long jump record at school. And when Ben played for Hornets, she joined the girls' team, the Queen Bees, and she was picked for Cornwall. Saying that, she was a bad loser. And in family games, she would always cheat to win. Your mum made reference to the fact that when she gave you and Ben sweets, you would always take 2 to Ben's 1. Your mum is so proud of you, and she's so proud of how close you and your brother Ben are from a young age until now. To her, you are the best daughter, sister, and granddaughter anybody could want. Ash, you are gorgeous inside and out, and we, everybody here, are very lucky to see you grow into the woman and the mummy that you are today. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses on behalf of Mandy and Ben to the beautiful bride. I know there's a long list of people that Damien and Ash would love to have here today, but Damien has already pointed out for him the 2 special people. These 2, along with Imogen, Bobby, Paul and Sam, help make Damien the fine young man that he is today. I talk, of course, of Damien's beautiful grandbiddy and the legend that is Freddie Rowe. I know they would have loved to have been here today to see this, and I'm glad they were lucky enough to see your gorgeous family grow one by one before they passed. I think it's fitting to end the speech with some words that are personal to Damien and Ash, and they would have come from Damien's best friend, his dad, Freddie Rowe. As long as I can remember, Freddie's nickname for Damien was Squibs. You'd go into the camping shop and Damien would be ordered around by Freddie. "Squibs do this, Squibs do that, Squibs get me an effing cup of tea." So Damien, he would have said, "Cheers, Squibs." And to Ash, as soon as Freddie met Ash, Ash was our girl, because to him, you were part of the family from the very start. You 2 keep doing what you're doing. Love each other, love your beautiful daughter, and know that we are all here for you whenever you want us. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses in the final toast to Squibs and our girl, the new Mr. and Mrs. Rowe. Cheers, guys.
Love you all.